Before we start, let me ask you something. Have you ever reached a moment in life where, on paper, you were doing everything right, but inside, something still felt restless or slightly off? Maybe you got the job, the relationship, the house, or the car you wanted, yet the satisfaction faded faster than you expected, almost as if happiness had an expiration date. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. In fact, this exact human experience is the starting point of one of the most profound psychological frameworks ever created, a framework that predates modern therapy by thousands of years and yet feels almost engineered for the challenges of our time. Today, we're diving into the Four Noble Truths of Buddhism, not as ancient philosophy, not as religious doctrine, but as a practical roadmap for freeing yourself from the exhausting cycle of craving, dissatisfaction, and emotional turbulence. And by the end of this 10-minute journey, you will see your life and your mind with a clarity that might surprise you. 1. The first noble truth, understanding the real problem. The first noble truth often gets mistranslated as life is suffering. But that's not quite accurate. A better way to understand it is life includes unavoidable moments of dissatisfaction. It's the subtle friction we feel when things don't go our way, the anxiety when we want something we don't have, the tightness in our chest when life slips outside our control. The Buddha wasn't saying life is misery. He was pointing out a universal pattern. We live with a constant undercurrent of tension. Even happy moments carry the fear that they might not last. This first truth isn't meant to depress you. It's meant to help you recognize something you felt your entire life, but maybe never named. Once you name a problem, you can finally solve it. 2. The second noble truth. Where this tension comes from. The second noble truth goes deeper. The root of this dissatisfaction is our craving, our clinging, our insistence that life must feel a certain way for us to be okay. Think about it. You crave success, and the craving drives you. But it also exhausts you because you never feel like you're doing enough. You crave certainty, but life keeps shifting. You crave approval, but people are unpredictable. This truth reveals something uncomfortable. We don't suffer because we lack things. We suffer because of the emotional pressure we put on those things. It's not the desire itself. It's the attachment. It's the desperate, I must, I need, I can't be happy unless, that traps us. And most people never see this happening because craving feels normal. But once you shine a light on it, you start to realize how many of your stresses come from gripping too tightly. 3. The third noble truth, the possibility of liberation. Now here's where things get hopeful. The third noble truth says, if craving is the root of dissatisfaction, then letting go, even a little, creates freedom. This isn't about abandoning goals or becoming emotionally numb. It's about loosening the grip. Imagine holding on to something with a clenched fist. Your hand gets tired, the muscles strain, and eventually the pain comes from the gripping, not the object itself. Now imagine opening your hand just enough to relax the tension. The object is still there, but the pain disappears. That's what liberation actually means. Involvement without obsession, caring without clinging, enjoying what you have without living in fear of losing it. And the moment you experience even a small taste of that release, you understand why countless people dedicate their lives to this path. 4. The fourth noble truth, the path that transforms your mind. So how do you actually let go? How do you reduce craving when it feels almost automatic? The fourth noble truth offers a practical roadmap called the Eightfold Path. But instead of listing steps, let's reframe it for modern life into 3 accessible skills. First, clarity of mindset. This means understanding your intentions, noticing when your thoughts are driven by fear or craving, and choosing actions that align with your deeper values rather than impulse. When your inner compass becomes clear, life becomes less chaotic. Second, integrity of action. When you stop acting from greed, jealousy, anger, or the need to prove something, life becomes dramatically simpler. You sleep better, you communicate better, you stop creating unnecessary drama, and the people around you feel more at ease. Third, training the mind. This is where meditation comes in, not as a ritual, but as a muscle-building exercise for awareness. Meditation teaches you to observe your craving without reacting to it, to feel discomfort without drowning in it, to witness desire without being controlled by it. Over time, this creates unshakable emotional stability. The Eightfold Path isn't a rule book. It's more like tuning an instrument, that instrument being your mind. And when it's tuned, everything in your life sounds different. A modern application bringing the 4 noble truths into daily life. Let's bring this into the real world. Imagine you want something badly, maybe a raise, a relationship, a certain lifestyle. There's nothing wrong with wanting it, but notice the difference between these 2 mindsets. The first says, I need this. If I don't get it, I'll be miserable. The second says, I desire this, but I remain whole regardless of the outcome. One mindset creates pressure, anxiety, and unhappiness. The other creates motivation without suffering. This is the 4 noble truths in action, not as theory, but as a psychological method for reducing mental chaos. Closing reflection. If you take only one thing from this conversation, let it be this. Freedom doesn't come from getting everything you want. Freedom comes from understanding why you want it so intensely in the first place, and loosening the grip just enough to breathe again. The 4 noble truths aren't ancient relics. They are a mirror. And when you look into that mirror honestly, you see the patterns that have shaped your life, often without you realizing it. But now you know, and with that knowledge comes the first step toward inner peace, the kind that doesn't depend on circumstances, accomplishments, or anyone else's approval. It depends only on how lightly you can hold the world.